uh, because I didn't realize the importance of communication. But I think communication with the employees is an exceedingly important function that any company chairman has to do and be visible in that sense. I had two problems. One were the actual market problems of a large business house that had operated very traditionally, and the other was internal to the company of several titans, if you might, who didn't want any change to take place, and I guess a certain amount of resentment also. So the first 5 years were akin to a Clint Eastwood, if you might, which tended to be filled with trying to get these elderly, very prominent people out of the way. It was not done with bullets, it was done with persuasion and I'm sorry to say, with money. So the first 5 years were spent in creating an environment where change was possible. And then I've been blessed with an organization that has been displaying considerable spirit in wanting to make a change. And many things that we did had not been done before, but I was always pleased to see that the response from the organization was tremendous. Without that, it could not have been done. I've always been very positive about the new India, and I've been saddened by the fact that after several years of very progressive growth, there's been a stumbling activity that has been a country driven by accusations of corruption. Not wrong, actually, rightly so. Crony capitalism and a government that has withdrawn its pace of growth. At the same time, I feel that has bottomed out, and we're on a path again to grow. But we've got to rebuild. We've gone from an 8% plus growth rate down to sub 5. Briefly. Right. We will grow back to the growth rate we had. We will need to control inflation, but I think India will, once again, the same spirit of the people will make it happen. Right. All our companies have had strong CEOs that have run the businesses, and the only thing I would say is that I've had a funny type of role where you sit apart looking at the overall company on a strategic basis, and then when there's a problem, you go into the company much more than may happen elsewhere in the world, where you find yourself playing the same role as the CEO in terms of either firefighting or moving a company in another direction, and then move back again into a macro position where you're looking at the company or the group in its broader sense. Right. So exactly what you said inadvertently has been what has been done. I think that's an absolute given. The worst thing that can happen is to determine where the company is going through the eyes or the mouth of one person, i.e. the CEO. Far more is gained by walking on the shop floor and talking to the people and trying to communicate. One of my weaknesses has been, I think, I've never communicated enough or adequately with our people, partly because I'm a shy person, and secondly, because I didn't realize the importance of communication. But I think communication with the employees is an exceedingly important function that any company chairman has to do and be visible in that sense. Well, I think this transcends to personal life also. you've got a country with tremendous disparity of income. You've got very rich people on the one hand and abject poverty on the other. You have to be sensitive to the fact that this gap cannot continue to widen while there's a large discontented number of people who are looking at the inequities of the environment as they see it. For companies, therefore, I think there has to be a sensitivity to doing something in the communities around which you operate, and making an effort to raise the quality of life so that there's not envy and distaste for what was there, but the companies looked at in a more positive sense in enhancing the quality of life of the people around them. We expend about 4% of our net profit in these rural development activities, and we do it ourselves. And someone may argue that this is shareholders' money, which it is, but I think it has bought a sense of not just tolerance, but a sense of welcoming our companies in wherever they've been, and enhancing whatever we've been trying to do in the product area or the services area to a community area, being part of the community. I would hope that we can home grow enterprises in various countries. I think what the United States has had, which is very different, is it's had an environment where a good idea driven by people who have merit has a better chance of being supported and financed and nurtured than you might find in developed countries. Very often a good idea dies in a developed country, or even, I mean, a developing country, or even a developed country outside the United States, and that person finally moves to the United States and makes a success. And it's because the environment allows that to happen. So I think there's a need for a supporting environment to take place, but I would hope that we would see more and more local companies being entrepreneurial and creative and being at some stage a global player.